Dear viewers, welcome back to local election debate 2018. Today we have mayor candidates from Tower Hamlets, and on our first segment, all of them, they made their opening remark why we should vote for them. On second segment, a few of them, they have explained their manifesto, the good side of their manifesto, the challenges as well. So now we'll have Rabina Khan to explain the good aspects and challenges from our manifesto. Rabina Khan, for fresh start. So you have 3 minutes to explain the good side and challenges of your manifesto. 3 minutes.
Thank you, Fine TV, for hosting this again. One of the things I've learned is that, yes, we have had a difficult past and we have to move on. And the things that we have to do is, most importantly, if we are to move on, then we have to make sure that our communities, our children, our families, our elderly and vulnerable move on with us. And unfortunately, in the last 2.5 years of what I have seen is that because of the cuts implemented under a Labour administration, we have not moved on. We have left people behind. And one of the reasons I say this is we've seen 8% in crime in the borough, we've seen knife attacks increasing, we've seen the fact that people feel very vulnerable when walking through the streets. We need a safer community, and one of the things that I proposed before in the budget motion in February 2018 of this year is that because the borough commander is now responsible for Hackney and for Tower Hamlets, this will be very difficult for her. We should be investing in a borough commander only dedicated to Tower Hamlets, including that with the efficiency of the council-funded police officers. However, in order to make our communities safer, we have to think of a bottom-up approach. That means investing in our young people. No matter what the administration say that they have been invested in young people, the problem is it is not being felt by communities, by families. And I say this because in the last 2.5 years, I've spent a great deal of time with young people, families and communities, speaking to them.
1 minute.
The cuts from the fact of social services and adult social services, it's all there. So my aspect of the manifesto is that we are putting families and communities at the heart of our manifesto, investing in good housing, in making sure we have free school meals, and making sure that we bring back university grants, and making sure that we reverse adult social care for people who are vulnerable and who have disabilities.
Thank you very much, thank you. Mr. Ohid Ahmed, now you'll have 3 minutes to explain your manifesto.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers. As you know, I've been campaigning nearly a year and a half on my top 10 promises. I have recently analyzed my top 10 promises and I launched my manifesto. I always say that rather my manifesto is probably something very special. For people in need of housing, I believe that everyone deserves decent quality affordable homes. This is why my promise is that we'll build 10,000 affordable quality homes by 2026. I want to get rid of homelessness in Tower Hamlets. So I will be initiating a homeless project, and I will give up my 15% salary to this project to make sure that people who are the rough sleepers, they have the best deal from Tower Hamlets. I will build 100% affordable homes on council lands for young people that deserve the best training, best youth provision and world-class education, nothing less. And what I have said, we did before when Luthran was there, I was the deputy mayor, we did education and maintenance allowance. I will reintroduce education and maintenance allowance. I will reintroduce university bursaries. I will continue with free school meals. I will reopen 18 youth centers, John Dix has closed. I will make sure that project like NAFAS is funded for working people looking for a decent jobs. We pay decent and fair wages. For elderly people who is in retirement or reaching to a retirement age, they need real safety, security, support, and dignity. For people who are victims of crime and violence, they need safety. And I promise that I will bring additional 60 police officers in Tower Hamlets. I will reintroduce the CCTV, wonderful CCTV camera we had. We will make sure that we have 2,500 trees for this borough. And also I will make sure that everybody comes together. It is a call. It is a call for unity over division. It is a call to bring Tower Hamlets together again. And my promise is to bring everyone in Tower Hamlets together again. So my promise to my viewers that if I become a mayor, I'll bring all my educational and working experience for you, and I'll make sure that I dedicate myself to serve you, not anyone else. I dedicate myself to serve everyone, not only few.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Huo Pierre, you have 3 minutes to explain your manifesto.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. John Biggs, when he spoke, said that the borough has changed since he's become elected and it's become a better borough. But I think for many people, that's not what they see. Think of those people who've seen their youth centres closed down. Think of those people who've seen have started to pay for social care that never used to pay, that now need to find that money for paying for social care. Think of the cuts that have taken place in various other aspects of the borough, some of them such as in police and community safety, that actually has had to reverse and bring those back in now. Think of the cuts that have taken place overall in our budget. Those are the things that I think absolutely we have to reverse. £60 million worth of cuts to this council's budget, they have to be reversed. And why? We've got 20,000 people on the council house waiting list. 8,000 of those are in urgent need of rehousing. This borough has a target of building 16,000 homes according to the London Mayor. At least 8,000 of those should be for rent, and we think 4,000 of those should be council homes that need to be built in this borough. We also think that there needs to be a rebuilding of our youth. So this borough has got one of the biggest proportion of youth of any borough in the country. We think that we need to put more money into our youth centres. We also need to make sure that we put more money into other aspects of young people's lives as well, such as the EMA, etc. We need to crack down on the expensive rents in this borough. How can it be that where the average income for a household is £580 a week, that we have average rents of £450 a week? So we need to bring in a rent cap to tackle that. So as the mayor, I say that we need to have an anti-austerity programme, and we need to fight this government for the money that we need. They won't give it to us easily. We need to fight it to end the poverty in this borough.
Thank you very much. Alan Bagshire, Liberal Democrat, you have 3 minutes to explain your manifesto.
Thank you. So myself and the Liberal Democrat team are standing this time on a 6 to Fix pledge. So these are the 6 things that people across the borough have told us are their top priorities. So first of all, it's about homes. So we want to make sure that everyone has an affordable, safe home to live in. And part of that is having a mandatory licensing scheme for private landlords, so that if you're renting, you still have protection. We want to help leaseholders set up their own residents associations so that you can take on some of the unscrupulous management companies that we currently have operating in the area. And we want to bring the empty homes that there are in the borough back into use. On antisocial behaviour and crime, we want to make sure that we're working with businesses and housing associations in the borough to look at how can we plug the gap that's been left by government cuts, and try and make sure that people feel as safe as possible in the borough. On recycling and waste, we want to go back to dropping pink recycling bags off at your home, and we will get rid of the requirement to show ID if you go and pick them up from an idea store. On community and green spaces, we want to make sure that we review the charges on community centres and make sure that they are not a barrier to different community groups using them, and also making sure that community spaces are actually for the community, so that they're being used by various groups rather than just small similar groups all the time. And on making the council work better for you, we want to make sure that residents are at the heart of everything that the council does. We make the council as easy as possible for you to do things with, rather than at the moment where a lot of people feel that there are barriers to getting anything out of the town hall. And then finally, on Brexit, we want to make sure that the borough is prepared for whatever might happen in March next year if we do end up leaving. So that means we want to work with the Brexit task force that's been set up by the current council, look at what are all of the scenarios, good and bad, that could come out of that, and make sure that as a borough we're prepared for what might happen.
Thank you very much. Thank you all 7 candidates for explaining your manifesto so rationally, and I'm sure the viewers, they will go through your manifesto and they will try to find out who is the best to offer. But housing is a big crisis for Tower Hamlets, and all of you mentioned about housing. So I will give all of you opportunity to come to this particular point on housing. Rabina Khan, what is your policy to tackle the housing crisis in Tower Hamlets? You were the portfolio holder for housing for quite a long time. So what you have done, you promising building new affordable houses, and there are other bits and bobs, but what you have done being the portfolio holder for that position for quite a long time?
First of all, if I can put the context, at the time in 2010 when I became Cabinet Member for Housing, there was a coalition government. They introduced something called the market affordable rent, which meant that we would have to charge 80% of the market rent. This was very difficult in Tower Hamlets because the land price is very high here, the rent is very high. And so what we had to do is work within the remits and the parameters of the law, and we had to develop something called pod rents, which was always envisaged to bring down through using right to buy schemes. So for example, we built Watts Grove, and at one stage I pulled that back because I was trying to lobby money from the GLA for £8 million, and very, very successfully we received a huge amount of money from the then Boris Johnson administration, and they were very good. They gave us the infill programme money, which instigated the first tranche of council homes ever being built in Tower Hamlets for a long time. So we also delivered all the major regeneration projects that were delivered and managed, and are still being managed as well, and delivered. The council homes that the current mayor takes credit for were actually instigated under my portfolio. We also instigated the Whitechapel vision, and the housing zone, which is almost securing £78 million, is one that I wrote the presentation for and helped lobby it. But in terms of going forward, because this is what you want to know how many? In this borough, in a time of Brexit, how will we go forward building homes? We need to look at our underused assets. Assets that the council owns, and they own nearly £1 billion worth of assets of council land, of council properties that haven't been used.
You will be using those?
2,500 homes to be built through a Tower Hamlets Housing Corporation, which the council must be a partner of, so that we always are the
you will be using unused resources.
But when you talk about housing isn't just about building homes. We also have to look after what we have. We've got to make sure that we protect our private rented sector people. 39% of this borough live in the private rented sector. I know this. I had to campaign heavily against the landlords who've been scrupulous in the way that they've dealt with people.
Thank you very much.
You only need to look at Chapman House in Chadwell.
Thank you. Mr. Rohid Ahmed, you mentioned about building another 10,000 affordable houses by 2026. How rational is that? How are you going to get all this funding?
Well, if you look at
John Biggs mentioned about 2,500, something like that, and all the candidates, all of them, they mentioned below 3,000.
No,
so
it's 5,000.
5,000.
2,500 for us, and 2,500 social homes,
social
including community land.
But you mentioned about 10,000, so it's almost double. Your figure is almost double. How are you going to get all this funding?
Well, I'm an individual who is very much target driven. My track record, if you look at my professional and political track record, I always delivered. We believed in something and we delivered.
How are you going to get all this funding?
That is my second point. If you look at if you look at my words, then you will see how I'm going to do it. I said 10,000 by 2026. That means if you drive a car, if you start driving a car, even if you stop it, if it is driving, it will go.
So let's assume you get elected as a mayor. In first 1 year, how many affordable houses?
First 4 years, it's 5,000. And we delivered 5,590
in 4 years'
homes.
time, you'll be making 5,000.
Can I finish?
Yes.
In 4 years, when we were in administration, I was a deputy mayor. We delivered 5,590 affordable homes. That is our track record. For 4 years. So in 8 years,
so
10,000.
You are saying from your track record, it would be possible.
It is possible.
Okay,
it is possible.
Thank you.
Can I finish? Because you asked me a question. How? Then you need to finish, because housing is something is very, very important. We just need to. We cannot give a false hope to people.
No,
and I
absolutely.
don't believe on this.
Yes, that's what we're trying to find out, whether this is feasible or not.
I personally believe I personally believe, I said before that in council land, I will build 100% affordable homes. In my region, and for your information, regionalization is my expertise. I was in sub-regional government advisory board.
Thank you. Thank you. We need to go for a quick break, and once we come back, and then we'll try to find out what other candidates got to offer. Dear viewers, NTV Europe's special local election debate. We need to go for a quick break. Once we come back, we'll try to find out more about housing and other important issues. Stay with us.